The boss of the Lucchese crime family was sentenced to life without parole Friday. Vittorio Vic Amuso was convicted last June of committing 9 murders, plus charges of extortion, gambling, and labor corruption. U.S. Attorney Andrew Maloney said Amuso's conviction ranks with that of John Gotti in damaging organized crime. And like the Gotti case, key testimony against Amuso came from his trusted lieutenant. Investigators at the Brooklyn DA's office believe John Gotti's son may have been involved in a bias attack on a black teenager. The DA's office has reportedly told the New York Post that the jailed mafia boss's youngest son, Peter, is one of the suspects in the September 27th assault on 17-year-old Mark Terry. Terry was accosted as he walked to his Brooklyn apartment carrying groceries. He told police that 2 carloads of white teenagers spotted him, stopped and shouted, "There's one, get him," and called him a nigger. One of the group shot at him with a pellet gun, but only hit his umbrella. So far, only 17-year-old Joseph Cassidy of Howard Beach, Queens, has been arrested in connection with the attack.
For the last couple of days, we've been giving you sneak peeks at Geraldo Rivera's upcoming primetime special, The New Godfathers. And in tonight's preview, Geraldo Rivera takes a look at who's lining up to replace the jailed Teflon Don, John Gotti.
Really sunk John Gotti was the ultimate betrayal. His right-hand man, Sammy the Bull Gravano, turned rat. He squealed on the boss, even as Gotti was preparing to make him heir to the throne. Sammy, once cornered himself by murder charges, gave up his friend to save his own skin. It was the beginning of the end for the American Godfather. Sammy's testimony would help send Gotti away for life. But the FBI tells us that Gotti is still trying to run his criminal empire from behind bars. Just as the 1985 death of Paul Castellano led to the rise of John Gotti, another key murder is likely to signal Gotti's successor. But who will it be? Police sources tell us this man, Pasquale Patsy Conti, is one front runner. Conti's lawyers scoff at the FBI charges and tell us Mr. Conti is not a member of organized crime. Not much is known about Conti. We do know that he's a successful Long Island businessman whose family apparently controls some of the key food supermarket chain. The FBI calls this man a sleeper, Sicilian-born, quiet but deadly. The feds believe he's running one of the biggest crime families in America.
John Stanfa is an individual trying to take over as the boss of an entire city and run the organized crime groups in Philadelphia.
We'd taken some pictures of Stanfa, so I knew what he looked like as I saw him outside his warehouse.
Mr. Stanfa? Hi, Geraldo Rivera. How you doing? Can I speak with you a second?
Get out of here from my place.
Can I speak with you?
Get out of here.
Can I speak with you just for a minute then?
Get out of here from my place.
What about this guy? Does this look like a crime boss? His name is Vinny the Chin Gigante, and the feds see him as another possible successor to John Gotti. This is no Dapper Don. This exclusive footage shows the Chin acting out what the feds call a clever charade. The feds don't buy it. They say he's crazy like a fox.
The New Godfathers airs tomorrow night on Channel 11 at 8 p.m. And following the special on the news at 10, we'll be talking to former U.S. Attorney Rudolph Giuliani on where law enforcement stands in its war against the mob. Italian police say they've arrested the most powerful mafia figure in their country, the boss of bosses, a man who's eluded the law for more than 2 decades. 62-year-old Salvatore Arena was arrested today at a roadblock during rush hour in the Sicilian capital Palermo. They say he is the head of the mafia's notorious Corleone crime family and the chairman of the commission responsible for running various mafia clans. Among other things, Rena will be charged with the car bomb deaths last year of 2 judges famous for prosecuting organized crime figures.
Next Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, Channel 11 will present a special 2-hour investigation into the status of organized crime around the world. It's called The New Godfathers. Geraldo Rivera is the host, and it'll be broadcast live from Sicily, where today's major mafia arrest happened. Marvin Scott talked to Geraldo about the special earlier today.
Geraldo Rivera, whose investigative team has spent 6 months preparing the special The New Godfathers, says the arrest of Salvatore Arena is a landmark, the most significant action against the mob ever scored by the Italian government. But even with his arrest and the imprisonment of Godfather John Gotti and other mob biggies, Rivera says organized crime is still flourishing.
I believe it's even more powerful, and I'll tell you why. We proved conclusively in the special, in the live special, that the traditional mob, La Cosa Nostra, the mafia, is now working in league with, hand in glove, with some of the other emerging ethnically based crime groups.
And in his special, Rivera reports the newfound freedom in Russia has seen the emergence of a powerful Russian mob.
Many of them have come here. They're in and around Little Odessa, Brighton Beach, and Brooklyn. There have been a bunch of murders. I forget the exact total. I think it's 12 murders in just the last couple of months in Brighton Beach. They're taking over prostitution, gambling, extortion, the other rackets, drug distribution there.
Rivera says he doesn't believe the mob will try to silence him. But when he reports live from Sicily next Wednesday at 8, he will be wearing a bulletproof vest and will be shielded by a heavily armed contingent of Italian police and soldiers. This is Marvin Scott for the Channel 11 News at 10.
Mob turncoat Sammy the Bull Gravano is on the witness stand in U.S. District Court, ready to match wits with star defense lawyer Bruce Cutler. Gravano is testifying for the prosecution in the federal drug trial of Giovanni and Giuseppe Gambino, nephews of late mobster Carlo Gambino. Gravano, the mobster whose testimony helped send John Gotti to prison for life, agreed to testify against his former cohorts in exchange for a reduced sentence. Cutler, who knows the ins and outs of the underworld, served as John Gotti's lawyer on numerous occasions, including the time Gravano testified against the once Teflon Don. Gravano has been undergoing questioning by other defense attorneys since Monday. Cutler's cross-examination is expected to get underway tomorrow.
Rabbi Fred Newlander was in court today for a status hearing in the case of his murdered wife. The court was surprised to hear questioning about a possible connection to reputed mob boss Joey Merlino. The hearing allowed officials to chart the progress of the case, but defense lawyers had one question. Did the prosecution talk to Joey Merlino about any involvement in this case? Now, according to prosecutors, the answer is no. News 10's Terry Ruggles caught up with the rabbi as he left court today and questioned him.
Okay, you don't care to make any comment about what life has been like or things like that?
Afterwards.
We can talk afterwards?
We can talk after all of this is over.
Police accuse Newlander of hiring a hitman to murder his wife Carol in their Cherry Hill home in November of 1994. Newlander claims he is innocent.